Assalamu alaikum, this is Aisha from CEO Club Pakistan. Coffee with CEO, we have a very exclusive guest. His name is Sharique Azim Siddiqui. He is the CEO of PIBT, Pakistan International Bulk Terminal Limited. And you are watching CEO Today TV. Assalamu alaikum, sir. कैसे हैं सर आप?
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
Sir, let's start with your inspirational journey, your educational and professional background in a nutshell.
So in a nutshell, schooling was in the boarding house in HSN College, Lahore, and उसके बाद I went abroad for my studies in the UK and in the US. I did my masters. I came back in '96 and joined the family business. And we've been in the cargo handling business in Pakistan for almost 50 years by now. And alhamdulillah, projects आते रहे, and उसमें हमने एक कंटेनर टर्मिनल एट कराची पोर्ट सेटअप किया. उसके बाद हमने a family business set up a coal terminal by the name of PIBT at Port Qasim. तो उसमें I'm the chief executive of that, and we had a long journey. It took us about 11 years working on that project to get it up and running. So 2017 maybe got up and running, mashallah se, and now we are in our fourth year of operations. So alhamdulillah, we are trying to stand on our feet and do volumes, and mashallah we are one of the leading bulk terminal in Pakistan now, handling coal volumes.
So sir, what are the challenges and opportunities faced specifically in your industry?
Well, the opportunities are, I think, in the cargo handling business as far as terminals are concerned in Pakistan. Opportunities are few and far in between, because I've been working almost 25 years, and I think in that time period there would be probably 4 or 5 projects that the ports have advertised and actually executed. So I think what Pakistan needs is a lot of deregulation, and I think Pakistan needs more ease of business to encourage the private sector to come in and take the risk and invest. As far as ports are concerned, I think there should be less stringent regulation, and there should be more of a welcoming attitude for investors and local investors as well. So otherwise the ports have been a success factor for Pakistan. We have almost more than a dozen terminals working in Pakistan, and they're working on international standards. So ports has been a success story since the 1990s. The government of Pakistan has been privatizing the ports, specifically cargo handling, and inviting private sector to come in and set up specialized terminals. And they provide the bulk of the revenue to the ports in terms of royalty and land rental, and they bring efficiencies of international standards to the country. So in that sense, ports has been successful. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, as in everything. So that is my take on it.
So in COVID-19, it's an opportunity, or it's an hurdle for you? Well, challenge.
In COVID, is specific to our terminal, we handle coal imports. So the importers of coal, once the prices went very high last year of coal, so there was a contraction in volumes of coal imports. So that affected the terminal volumes and our revenues. But last year we did 10 million tons of coal imports at PIBT. We did alhamdulillah, we had a positive bottom line, and we are the second publicly listed port terminal in the country. So alhamdulillah, us hawale se we're doing okay.
So sir, what is the toughest decision you think that you've taken in the COVID-19 or in your professional career?
Well, in COVID-19, I think if you look at the positives, I think working on Zoom, meetings on Zoom, and learning to cope even from home, that's opened up for everyone a new window that you can do work from home. So COVID-19 we did initially when there was a lot of COVID, 2 years back in the city, so we had restrictions on our staff. About 50% of our staff used to come to office at the ports, and we asked the other staff to stay at home and work from home. So we managed like that. So I think can be managed. And आपने कहा one of the most difficult decisions.
Yeah.
I suppose for a family business, we set up our main business is cargo handling, and then when we were setting up this project, we had to raise equity, and we were forced to sell our container terminal that we set up in Karachi port. So I think for a family business, that was a very big and a difficult decision to actually sell a business that you've set up and is running well. So that would be, I think, difficult.
So, see, there are leadership crises in Pakistan. So, what do you think? What are the 3 competencies of a leader?
In Pakistan, I think what we should do is first teach ethics to our students rather than anything else, because there's a crisis of ethics and morality in Pakistan. And that goes all the way, even in the private sector. In government, it is there. There's a dearth of good officers and honesty, and that spills over in the private sector also. So I think for Pakistan, we derive our inspiration from Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And I think what we need is to have ethics. We need to have quality, caliber, and we need to have sincerity of purpose for a leader to be successful, I think.
So your role model is?
I think my role model will be definitely Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Yes. So, sir, how you manage your stress and anger during your working hours?
You normally pull up your staff around you, but I think what I lay more focus now on, I have a very strict exercise routine, which is actually good, and I tell people that if you exercise every day, it's actually a sort of stress reliever, and at a certain age it's important physically and also mentally to have an exercise routine to relieve that stress. And we also conduct anger management training sessions at PIBT terminal. We have our own in-house trainers, and we do that. We do sessions to help our staff and to educate them, and we do a lot of training sessions also within the terminal, because I want our staff to be also, apart from just doing work, you should invest in your people so that they are they bring up their standards, not in just your work, but in, as you mentioned, in quality of management, stress management, and all these things. We do have regular sessions for that.
So what is the role of CSR in your company? CSR,
alhamdulillah ji, as we are growing, as we are sort of a third, fourth year of operations. So what we've done is, in the area that we are in Port Qasim, we've invested in planting mangroves at 1200 acres of area in Port Qasim. We maintain a lot of those mangroves at the terminal. We have our own mangrove nursery, so we give back to the environment by investing and maintaining in mangroves. Plus, in the area that we are in, we oversee a school over there, and we've also set up a health clinic over there for the local people. So we are slowly expanding our CSR footprint as we are growing for the locals where we are located in. G.
So what are the 3 words for success?
I think it's sincerity, dedication, and quality.
Emotional intelligence is important?
Definitely must be very important.
So how much it would be important?
I think it's very important, emotional intelligence. I think to be balanced.
As a CEO, as a leader.
I think to be balanced and to be patient a lot of time. You have to learn to take a punch a lot of times as the head of an organization also. And there's a lot of challenges. You are totally dependent on external factors when you're doing business, your international factors, local factors, how the country is doing, how the economy is doing. So I think in a family business, you have a more long-term vision, and you invest like the projects that we invest in, like this project, PIBT, the coal terminal. It's a 30-year concession. So we've invested for 30 years, and we hope to give returns to our shareholders, inshallah, sometime down the road. But it's a long-term investment in infrastructure in Pakistan.
Okay, so what is the idea of happiness?
Idea of happiness, I think, is contentment. If one can find contentment, one can be happy.
Okay, so sir, at the end of our conversation, I request you to give the optimism message to our youth generation, to the hope.
I think as Pakistanis, we should be always looking at investing in ourselves, in our country. We have a new country, it's only 70 some years old, and we have a long way to go. We have a long way to grow as a country. We have a long way to grow in terms of gelling together as a nation and growing as a nation. I think if we can teach our children ethics, and the state can teach our students to be fully educated, so our nation can be a better quality nation, and we can have a better output. So I think a lot of investment needs to be done in the people of Pakistan. And I think if Pakistan can find 10 years of peaceful growth, I think we can be a successful country, a successful economy, inshallah. So I would say that it's incumbent upon us to be, inshallah, looking at the positive side of things.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And thank you so much, and keep watching CEO Today TV. Allah Hafiz.